Larry catches the biggest bass.
If you've been here for a while, you have seen the kind of like evolution of all the different boats and all the different gear and stuff that I've been using on the channel. I got this kayak in 2021, nothing's wrong with it. I love it to death. I recently got this Bonafide and I really like it too. This one, I will say, I think I'm kind of getting a little bit, I don't know, I think I like this one a little bit more, but this one is still an absolute amazing kayak. If you're looking to buy a new kayak, if you're in between Bonafide and Old Town, I'd have to tell you to check these out for yourself, because this one I love, this one I loved, I used to love, but I mean this one's kind of taking the cake, really because of these rod sleeves up front. I can put my rods in these on a creek and I don't have to worry about them snagging on trees. So this is kind of like the one-stop kayak. I can use it pretty much anywhere. But that's not, well, that's kind of what today's about. So today, first we're putting on the sidekick wheel system on the Bonafide so I can go deep into the woods, because I have a whole bunch of ponds that I haven't been able to fish because they're a mile drag through woods and these kayaks aren't light, especially by myself. So I have a better way to transport the Bonafide. What we're doing today is we're gonna go through all of my boats. I have a twin troller, I have an old Town Salty PDL 120, and then I have the Bonafide P127. We're gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna tell you what I love, hate about all of them, do like a little quick review, and then give you a tour of all of the boats that I use. Because all these things pretty much get used like 3 times a week a piece. And this kayak now is kind of starting to become, like, for lack of a better word, a bashing kayak. You know, if I'm going somewhere that I'm not super familiar with, or if the water's super shallow, this one performs better. And this one performs better in shallow water, but like if I have a sketchy trek in and out, the Old Town's going. All right guys, 6.5 hours later, I got the wheels put on the kayak. I'm gonna take everything down there to the twin troller just so everything's in like one general vicinity. Wheel that one now since we have wheels on it, and then I'm gonna drag the Old Town. So we're gonna do that first and then we'll start talking about them. This is so much nicer, I love this. Get sketchy. Oh yeah. All right, we got them all down here. Which one should we start with? We're gonna start with the Bonafide. So this is a Bonafide P127. This is slowly becoming my favorite kayak. I love the Old Town, but I think I like this one a little bit more, and I'll walk y'all through and tell y'all some of the reasons why I like it more than the Old Town. Number one thing that I absolutely love on this kayak is this big dry storage hatch right here. You pop it open. You can open it from the back, so like if I'm sitting down I can open it from back here, or if you're just trying to access it, just like if it's sitting out like how it is right now, I can open it from the front. But it opens up, then there's this little rope, so you can I just hit this rope and it closes back down. I keep this rope in here. This is my little drag rope if I'm fishing the creek or whatever, which I probably won't have to use as much since I have those wheels on it now. Yeah, that's part one, why I like this one more than the Old Town. The Old Town doesn't have anything, gets out in the open. It does have storage underneath the seat, but it's kind of awkward and your stuff rolls around on the inside. I'm sure I could probably buy a bin to put down in it, but this one comes pretty much loaded and I didn't have to really add any accessories to it except for the sidekick. Number 2 thing that I like way more than the Old Town is the pedal drop system. I was watching a YouTube video last night, kind of planning on what I want to talk about in today's video, and this propel drop system right here, when you have it deployed down into the water, you can hit this little plastic piece, push your pedals backwards, and it stops your prop, so you don't have to do all that jiggling and wiggling trying to line your prop up to pop it up out of the kayak or up out of the water. So we're gonna put that back, and then this thing is a lot easier to take out because these little pull pins right here, easy, simple, and then you have a third one down here for whenever it's down the water. Another reason why I like this thing is I can put my pliers, scissors, fish holders, all in these little scupper holes right here, and then also I have a lot of room to slide those up out of the way, like if I have a fish laying in the kayak, or if I have 3 fish laying in the kayak, you know, if it's just a crazy day and I'm just loading up on bass. I have a lot more room to move around and put different stuff down in the bottom of the kayak. Moving on back, I love the seat. I will say the seat's probably a little bit more comfortable than the Old Town seat too, just because I think it's newer. I had to wait until I've been using this one for a year. Once it gets a good summer under its belt, then I'll be able to tell y'all. One more thing about the propel drop, sorry, I forgot this. It comes with this little screw option right here, and this sticks. These grip really well to my Extra Tough, so if my feet are wet or if the pedals get wet, you don't have to worry about your feet sliding off of them, so that's really nice to have. Next, I just discovered this when I was in Tennessee fishing the kayak tournament. You know, when you're not catching fish, you start discovering new things about your kayak, and that's what I was doing. I can actually mount my paddle right here. I only have half of a paddle, the other half of it broken. It's like a little sharp edge, so I feel like it's a little dangerous to carry around. I only keep one half of it. Most of the time when I'm on a small pond or whatever, I could swim back to the other side if it really came down to it, so I don't feel like I need the other half of it. But yeah, I can latch this right there like that. Super quick and easy, and I absolutely love that because I was trying to figure out how to keep these things straight, and these are paddle holders back here, but that's kind of complicated. And then now with the sidekick on there, I don't know if I really have enough room to have the paddle good and accessible back there. Talked about the seat. The only thing that I don't like about the seat, and I think that Bonafide has a fix for this now, is it wobbles in the back. It mounts up in the front on like your little gear track system, which that's more than enough for it, but I kind of wish there was some way to mount that in the back better, because it kind of gets a little wobbly sometimes. Like if you stand up or if you push on it wrong, it'll kind of sit up. You're never going to fall out of the kayak because your seat is loose in the back, but that's just something, Bonafide, if you're listening, I'd put maybe a little bungee or something to help the seat stay still. Okay, next, this is new, the sidekick system. That thing is nice. It's nice. I really have been missing out on that. So now I can take my kayak, carry it through the woods, drag it through the woods, and I don't have to worry about, you know, it being, it's just dead weight. Now I have something to help kind of counterbalance all that weight on here. This is my net. I keep this universal through all 3 of these boats. It's a kayak exclusive net. Well, you can use it for anything, but you grip it and got a little arm brace, so you know when we catch the biggest bass, we can scoop it and it fits in the net, and it's all said and done from there. That's pretty much it for this kayak. This is just like your little rudder system back here. You have another beefy handle in the back, so something nice and firm to hold on to, because you know these kayaks aren't light, so you can't put a little thin, flimsy handle on the back of one and expect somebody to be able to drag it through the woods. But I really love this kayak. I think Bonafide, it feels like Bonafide is just made for me. It's just personal preference. The kayak feels really good. Everything on it feels usable. It doesn't feel like it has any unnecessary features. I did leave one more thing out. Pretty sure I said this in the beginning of this video, but these 2 rod holders up front are super clutch, because on creeks, if you fish creeks, you know your rods, paddles, everything gets snagged on trees when you're trying to maneuver throughout the creek. So I can slide my rods up into these little rod tubes. I don't really use the one on the left side because your rudder control is right here and it kind of gets in the way of one of your rods. But yeah, the one on the left side is. So that's pretty much it for the Bonafide 10 out of 10 rating. I love this thing. So if I was telling you blindly and you didn't want to go do any research for yourself, I would tell you to get the Bonafide P127. The Old Town. This was my first kayak. I absolutely loved it. It's been a great time. It is the Old Town Salty PDL 120, so it is made for saltwater. I think that's why there's not a hatch up front. They tried to keep it probably pretty bare bones, because the more stuff you add, the more stuff that's gonna rust, the more stuff that can go wrong in saltwater. That's just my thinking of it. Start up here in the front. This is your little drain hatch. You have to send the kayak up on its end. If you get water in it, water drains out. It's a kayak. There's probably gonna get some water in it if you fish in it enough. If you fish in it catch some nice big old juicy bass, you're gonna get some water in your kayak. You got a little bungee system right here. I really wish that there was a hatch to keep your stuff out of the water, because when you're in the water, your kayak's gonna get wet. You know, there's some things that you don't want to get wet on your kayak. But one thing that I love on this one that the Bonafide does not have, on your PDL drive, you actually have a pretty good sized storage hatch. So that's really nice to have. Let's see what's in there. Some super glue that's been sitting in water probably for about 3 months. That, like, you go from the bright blue or bright orange to, you know, that cool looking color over there. It's kind of hard to say that like I would go back to this one, even though I do plan on using this one here in the future, because I am going to make some saltwater trips in 2023 and take this thing with me. Nothing wrong with this kayak, I just like the Bonafide more. Back to this side. This is my seat right here. Old Town has a really good seat. Both of the kayak seats that I have are phenomenal, but I mean, if I had to pick one, I want the Bonafide, because it also sits up a little bit higher. You can get some little blocks to put on the back of this one to help it sit up a little bit higher, but that one comes from the factory sitting up higher. You know, when you spend $3,200 on a kayak, you really don't want to have to spend more money to get it more customizable, I guess is what I'm trying to say to you. So pedal drive is good. Pedal drive is still working good after a year, so I think that's a major plus. I don't have to do anything to it when I get it off the water. Haven't done any like maintenance to it or anything like that. I'll wipe it down here and there. I've had to change a prop. I'm pretty sure I broke a prop. I'll show you how it goes on real quick. See, it's a good system. I just kind of like the pull pins better. You just twist these things around. That locks it in. Well, twist both sides. That locks it in. You pull them or twist them back the opposite way. Take it out. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory there. And then you have another one down here at the bottom, which, not gonna say any names. Drew, you broke it, but love you, man. And those are $5, $6 to replace. And you'd much rather be breaking those little plastic pieces than breaking a full $1,000 pedal drive. So this is that gearbox I was telling you about. Don't worry about that little bit of water in there. It happens.
When you catch big juicy bass.
Yeah, when you catch big juicy bass. Also, Greg flipped this kayak like 1.5 years ago, and I haven't gotten the water out of it since. So one cool thing about the Old Town is that it comes with these straps right here to strap the back of the kayak down. So like when you have it fully set up and your seat's in place in the front, you can use these little. So that's just nice, like riding down the road, you don't have to worry about it doing this number like the Bonafide does sometimes. You got a big storage hatch in the back. I really like that. The only thing is, Bonafide comes with some little clips to secure your black pack. So when I go down the road, I just use the clips on this one, and I don't have to worry about putting my black pack in the truck. It's just one less thing to declutter my truck. I think that's pretty much it for this one. These are very quick overviews of these kayaks, because I know you don't have a lot of time and you want to see what I have. So we're gonna go to the twin troller. But for $5,000, I love them because I fish a lot of ponds. Some of the ponds that I fish, especially some of the ponds that I'm gonna be fishing this upcoming year, did not have a boat ramp. So this little small trailer, 12-foot boat, probably 13, 14-foot trailer, it's gonna be perfect. I can back it over trees, back it through high grass, really don't have to worry about it too much. I think the price tag on it is a little high, which I do understand all the engineering and everything that went into it, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd pay out of pocket for this thing. This thing was sent to me, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So we'll talk about the trailer too, because I did add some stuff to the trailer, which I'm very proud of. I added this little jack, so there's no more picking up the trailer 3 o'clock in the morning on the way to go fish. You know, when you're still half asleep, you have to use all your muscles to lift the trailer. Now I can just, super happy about that. I need to replace the trailer lights on it. The lights still do work, but I didn't have them connected, or I forgot to connect them one day, and I drove down the road, and yeah, one of my little light terminal things on the inside is gone. I added this little sticky tape right here. Just gives it a little bit more traction whenever I'm getting up on the trailer to hook up the boat whenever I'm pulling it back up. On the actual boat itself, this thing has been pretty much flawless. I do have some corrosion on one of my battery cables, which that's 100% my fault. So I'm getting some more of those to replace. This boat's really nice. It's really nice for 2 people. It's the perfect size. I've had a lot of different people, a lot of different size people on this boat with me, and you will not flip this boat. You don't even have to put the plug in this boat, which that's recommended, but if you didn't put the plug in it, you don't have to worry about it. It's gonna fill up with water, but you're not gonna sink it. So that's a major plus, because sometimes old Larry Melton Jr. gets a little clumsy and forgets to put the plug in. When the boat fills up with water, it will let you know. Nice seats on this boat. They're nice camo seats, and then they're nice and comfortable to sit down on for a full long day of fishing. I do not have the motor or the foot pedals for the boat, but it's basically like a 0-turn lawnmower with your feet. That's what I tell everybody. Both feet forward to go forward, both feet back to go back. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back to go right, then opposite way is opposite way. So these are your little cables that plug into your foot pedals, and it has a little gear track, or it has your little track up here to put those in. Have a lot of storage on the boat. You can fit comfortably 3 rods on each side, but I mean, you can fit up to probably 10 rods on this thing. They're gonna be stacked up and probably piled over each other, but this thing has a lot of storage. The trailer's good. I haven't had to do anything with it. I'm pretty sure it's a Smith trailer. Smith trailers are basically like the Lego version of a trailer. Anything that you could possibly want to add onto this thing, I want to put some better lights on it, and I want to get a different fish finder. The twin troller comes with the Lowrance Hook 4, I want to say. Yeah, Hook 4. So it's not nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done. It only has down scan. I want to upgrade it. I'll probably put that on either the Bonafide or the Old Town just to have a fish finder on it. You got 2 seats. Normally, if you watch like some of my summer videos, normally I only have 1 seat on here just to have more room so I can fit my black pack and all of my other gear on it. These things are clutch. I have these on the Old Town and Bonafide and the twin troller. They just hold pliers, whatever you need, and then you don't have to worry about dropping them in the water. When I first started fishing, when I got on my first pond, January 1st of 2022, first thing I did was drop some $30 scissors in water. So I went and bought a whole bunch of those, and I probably paid 10 bucks for, I don't know how many I have. I probably paid 10 bucks for 10 of them. Never go wrong with that. These are your battery cables right here. I have a little battery box back here. Batteries are sitting in the house. It got a little cold in Alabama. Fills up with leaves because we're outside. All my boats stay outside, and they've been outside for about 1.5 years now, so I haven't had any problems with them. That probably has a little bit to do with my corrosion, but I have a cover on the way, and I have some new cables on the way. And all this stuff is like super easy to work on. It makes me feel like a mechanic if I ever had to do anything to any of these boats. But there's nothing too complicated about the 3 of these boats. That's what I love about them. Like if something breaks, I can have it fixed in a day or a couple weeks, and then I have enough to rotate. You know, if both kayaks are down for whatever reason, I have the twin troller. Twin troller isn't working, then I have both of the kayaks. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. I know it's a shorter video today, but I really appreciate you hanging out with me. I know a lot of y'all have requested this video. I don't have the Pelican Bass Raider anymore. I sold it, and that little green kayak, I don't have it anymore. So I appreciate all the support on the channel, guys. Don't forget to fish from heart, and have a great day. I'll see y'all later.
Chasing a bag, I'm racing the clock. Look at him block, watching him flop. Used to see this in my sleep. When I ain't had shit but my thoughts in the car, I really was lost. Now I'm public with the soundscapes.